From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now in the Afternoon Edition, a brand new effort to stop the alarming growth of a drug that's spreading fast and taking more and more lives. Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Yamamoto.
And I'm Elizabeth Cook. We're talking about xylazine, also commonly known as tranq. That's the animal sedative that's being found more often in fentanyl. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
But first, we're following breaking news in Martinez. Taking a live look right now, the Bay Area Air Quality District says they are monitoring a petroleum coke release at the MRC refinery. The EPA says petroleum coke is similar to coal and is a product of oil refining. The EPA warns that ingesting it can cause serious health problems, specifically for your heart and lungs. And we just learned that there are hazmat crews on the way, and the health department is warning people to avoid breathing it in. But we have not heard of any official shelter-in-place order. Back in November, people in Martinez saw ash falling from the sky from the refinery. People were later told not to eat vegetables that were being grown at that time. The refinery called that dust spent catalyst. During the incident, the health department said the primary risk happened in the initial hours and days when people were most likely to breathe it in.
Today, the White House announced a new plan for more testing and research into tranq. Right now, though, they are stopping short of recommending new restrictions. The CDC found that xylazine was involved in almost 11% of drug overdose deaths in June of last year. That's up from just under 3% in January of 2019. The Biden administration will explore making xylazine a scheduled drug. Several states have already restricted that drug. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom said this month he is updating the state's opioid plan to include tackling the rising threat of tranq. Newsom says he's also increasing anti-drug trafficking work along California's border with Mexico. California's Department of Public Health says it is monitoring the situation, and the agency went on to mention there are test strips for xylazine. And in California, the number of fentanyl deaths are skyrocketing. Nearly 6,000 deaths have been linked to fentanyl since 2021. The Department of Public Health says those numbers in the state have tripled since 2019. And maybe most sobering of all, most of the cases involve younger people. We spoke to a special education teacher at Mount Diablo Unified School District about the importance of knowing how to prevent overdoses.
If you find a young adult that is showing signs of fentanyl poisoning or other opioid poisoning, just minutes can make a difference.
That expert says Narcan needs to be accessible at all times to save lives.
Well, disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes could leave prison a year and a half earlier than expected. That's according to newly released court documents. Holmes reported to a Texas prison camp in late May. She's serving an 11-year and 3-month sentence for fraud and conspiracy in her failed blood testing startup. And right now, a North Bay church at the center of controversy over money it received from the state to help boost security. Well, members of the Santa Rosa church have been recently making headlines for showing up to protest drag queen story hours at the library. And as John Ramos reports, some are angry that a church with an anti-LGBTQ message is now getting grants to defend itself against hate.
Assembly Bill 1664 was designed to provide funding for more security at houses of worship in marginalized and threatened communities. But it's hard to believe they had this particular church in mind when they wrote it. After several tragic shootings at Jewish synagogues and black churches, the California legislature passed the bill to help congregations protect themselves from hate crimes. But when Jason Newman found out that $400,000 was being given to Victory Outreach Church in Santa Rosa, he was outraged.
I mean, I just couldn't believe it. It said literally to protect them from hate crimes. And I'm like, how can these people be the agitators and the victims at the same time?
Newman is a therapist who counsels at-risk LGBTQ teens, and earlier this month he was at a Santa Rosa library where protesters showed up to condemn a drag story hour for kids. He says some of the protesters came from Victory Outreach.
There's a couple people who said it by name, and then immediately afterwards someone came over to them and said, oh, don't tell them that's where we're from.
But during his Father's Day sermon, the church's pastor, Jose Guadarrama, asked the congregation to go to the library later that day.
Some of us are going to be going. I invite every one of you if you want to come. I think it would be great if we all show up.
We got no response from Pastor Guadarrama today, but he makes it clear in the sermon why they were going there.
There is a group of people that are coming in and teaching our little ones some weird, demonic, evil stuff. I said it. It's demonic. And they're zeroing in, they're focusing on the little ones.
The pair of $200,000 grants are being given to construct security fencing around the church and its tented multi-purpose facility. But Chelsea Kernick, an LGBTQ activist who also attended one of the several Drag Story Hour counter-protests, said she doesn't understand why the church would feel threatened when they were helping instigate the conflicts.
There were people at these protests from that church who identified themselves as being from that church, using slurs and being very in your face. This is not a church that I have any evidence has been persecuted for their faith or is under any kind of physical safety threat. I don't really know of evangelical Christian churches in our area being under attack on the basis of their religion.
The grants are being administered by the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, and while it may seem hateful to some, condemning homosexuality is not considered a hostile act in itself. So it looks like Victory Outreach is within its rights to claim themselves as victims in a fight they may have started.
And the grant program offers a total of $47.5 million. Each recipient can get a maximum of $500,000.
All right, switching gears now to the heat, looking out live to Concord, and that is one of the spots that's about to get really, really, really hot here in the Bay Area. Let's get to First Alert meteorologist Darren Peck. Darren, when's the heat going to arrive?
It's going to peak on Saturday. We'll look at that in the 7-day forecast because for right now, Liz, it's actually kind of nice over here. We'll start out with that perspective. We're looking from Mount Diablo out over inland Contra Costa County, and that's Concord down there. Always a great representative spot just to see where we're sitting for the temperature right now. It's 81 degrees there. That's, that's pretty much average. 88 would be the average daytime high over here, and we'll probably just barely get there today. And if we wanted to find even cooler numbers, we can do that as well. All we have to do is go into the city. You can see the marine layer creeping over the shoulder of Mount Sutro and Sutro Tower. 68 degrees in San Francisco now. So what's Liz talking about? The change that happens over the next 3 days. And to see that, we'll just do the quick comparison. Here are today's daytime highs. Kind of nice. There's that number for Concord. You'll go up to 93. You still got a ways to go. But watch the transition from Tuesday into Saturday. Now we start pulling in those purples for the inland valleys. We've got numbers getting well into triple-digit territory here. We'll walk through this in the complete First Alert 7-day forecast. I'll show you how we transition. We've got an excessive heat watch for the weekend, guys. I'll see you with more on that in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Darren, thanks so much. Developing news out of the NATO summit in Lithuania. Sweden will be the next country to join the alliance, but Ukraine will have to wait a little longer. Ukraine will eventually join NATO, but the country has to meet certain criteria first. They include modernizing their military and fighting corruption. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had harsh words for NATO members, calling their decision unprecedented and absurd. The Biden administration says expanding NATO sends a clear message to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
It's sending a very strong message to Putin that he's not going to outlast us. He's not going to outlast Ukraine. And the sooner he ends this war of aggression, the better.
President Biden and Zelensky will meet one-on-one at the summit tomorrow.